gauss-seidel method. Problem statement: solve the system of equation using gauss-seidel method. For x1 plus x2 plus 2x3 equal to 4, this is equation 1. 3x1 plus 5x2 plus x3 equal to 7, this is equation 2. x1 plus x2 plus 3x3 equal to 3, this is equation 3. You know, in a Jacobi method, what we follow? Same process here. We find in a diagonal terms values. You can see here in a diagonal terms values, here is given x1, then we find in equation number 1, here is given x2, we find in equation 2, here is given x3. Any equations are given, we can see here in a diagonal variables we will find. Suppose we find x1, then first you write x1 equal to 4 and plus x2. Convert here minus x2 because any variable if from left to right side conversion, then sign will be changed. It means minus x2 convert here minus x2. If here is given minus, then we convert plus. If here is given plus, then we convert minus. Same, you can see here plus 2x3. Convert in right side, then we write minus 2x3. Then 4 will be divide all terms, all variables. Now we check equation 2. In equation 2, here is given x2. First you write x2 equal to 7. Then plus 3x1 we convert in right side minus 3x1. Now plus x3. Then we convert right side. You write here minus x3. Then this 5 will divide all the terms, all the variables. Same process we will follow third equation because we find x3 in third equation. First you write x3 equal to 3, then plus x1 convert in right side minus x1 plus x2 we convert in right side minus x2. Here is given constant value 3. And 3 divide by all the variable which divide by 3. These steps we have follow in solution. Now you can see in solution we are going to solution. Step 1, rearranging equation. Solve each equation for the corresponding variable. Now you can see here which I have defined you in a questions. First equation we have find x1, then you write all values 1 upon 4 bracket x4 minus x2 minus 2x3. Now x2 equal to 1 upon 5 bracket 7 minus 3x1 minus x3. x3 equal to 1 upon 3 bracket 3 minus x1 minus x2. You now in the questions is given 4x1. Now 4 divided by these values. And second equation 5x2 is given, then 5 divided by all values because we have find x2. In the third equation 3x3 is given, then 3 divided by all given variable. This is very important for solution. Any iteration will follow, then same you write use x1, x2, x3. Now step 2, initial case. Let x1 power 0 means initial iteration 0 equal to 0, x2 not equal to 0, x3 not equal to 0. You must be remember first we start in gauss-seidel method, then we put these values because this is the algorithm for solution. Step 2, iterative computation. Gauss-seidel uses updated values immediately. Iteration 1, it means first iteration. Now we put these values x1, x2, x3. We have put in equation number 1 which we find x1. After the putting these values we divide by 4, divide by 4 we get 1. Same process we apply. Initial value x1, x2, x3. Because here we have find x1 1 and we put in here x1 and the value of x3 we put 0. Then we simplify. 7 minus 3 ones are 3. 7 minus ka 3 we get 4. 4 divided by 5 we obtain 0.8. x3 equal to 1 upon 3. 3 minus we have find x1 then you write here. We have find x2 then you put in 0.80. Then we simplify, then divide by 3. We get 0.40. You must be remember what is the difference between Jacobi and Gauss-Seidel method. In a Jacobi method, first we find iteration 1, then we put all values. But in a Gauss-Seidel method, if we have find x1, then immediately we can put in x2, not wait. If we have find x2, then immediately we put the value in x3, not wait other iteration. This is the main purpose of gauss-seidel method. If we have find x1 and x2, then not wait to other iteration, we can put in the variable which we want to find. Now you can see here x1 is this and x2 is 0.80 and x3 equal to 0.40. Now we put these values in equation 2. Now you can see here we put according to questions, then we simplify, we get 0.60. If we have find x1, immediately we can put in x2. We don't wait on other iteration. This is the main purpose of gauss-seidel method. You can see here we have find x1, then immediately we put x1, and which in the previous iteration we have find, then we put these values. After these put in values, we simplify 7, 3 multiplied by these values, then we simplify all values, we get 4.2, then divide by 5. We obtain 0.8400. Now x3, 3 minus, you can see here we find x1, then we put here, and we find x2, then we put here. We don't wait to other iteration in a gauss-seidel method. This is the main point. If we find any elements, then we put. It means we can see here we get x1 and we get x2. Don't wait for other iteration. We have put in x3 these values. After the put in values, we simplify plus minus. We get 1.56, then divide by 3. We obtain 0.5200. Now we go on third iteration. Then we use x1 and value of x2 and the value of x3. Iteration 3. In iteration 3 values, then we simplify, we get 2.12 and divide by 4 equal to 0.5300. If we have find x1, we don't wait other iteration. Don't wait other iteration. We can put immediately in x2. We put x1 and x2. After the putting these values, we simplify. We get 4.39. Now divide by 5 is given. Divide 4.39 by 5. We obtain 0.8780. Now we get x3 and third iteration. If we have find x1 and x2, we put these values x1, and you can see here x2 is given. We put these values x2. After the putting these values, we simplify, then we get 1.592 divided by 3 equal to 0.5307. We have find third iteration. The final answer x1 equal to this, and the final answer of third iteration x2 equal to 0.8780, and x3 equal to 0.5307. But I have also find iteration 4. iteration for we put these values, and after the simplification we divide by 4, we get 0.5152. x2, we put these values which we have find x1, then after the simplification we get 4.4245 divided by 5. Final obtain 0.8849. If we have find x1 and x2, both values will be put in x3. After the put in values we simplify, then divide by 3, we get 0.5333. In a question, if here is given third iteration, then we can stop in third iteration. If in a question here is given fourth iteration, then we can put in fourth iteration. Now you can see here we have right in tabular summary of iteration. First column iteration, second x1, then x2, x3. So now we start 0 iteration, then all the value of x1, x2, x3 we start 0. If we find first iteration, we get these values we write here. If we solve second iteration, then you get these values of x1, x2 and x3. If we have find third equation, then we get these values. Now after the putting these values in the fourth iteration, you get these values x1, x2 and x3. You must be remember what questions are given. If in a questions given up to 5 iteration, then you go to next iteration. If in a question is given third iteration, then you can stop in third iteration. If in a question is given fourth iteration, then you can stop in fourth iteration. Now the solution is converging after 4 iterations. The approximate solution is x1 equal to 0.515 and x2 approximate 0.885, x3 approximate 0.533.